So, for the establishment, the High Court of Malaysia was created in 1963. It unifies the legal system of Malaya, Sabah, Sarawak and Singapore, which left in 1965. It established under Article 121 of the Federal Constitution. Article 121 also set up the Federal Court, Court of Appeal and two High Courts, which is one in Malaya and one in Sabah and Sarawak. It replaced the old Supreme Court for consistent law application. It handles civil and criminal cases and reviews lower court decisions. It is important for interpreting the Federal Constitution, and it aims to create a fair and effective legal system in all regions in Malaysia. Next, for the Constitution, the High Court of Malaysia was set up under Article 121 of the Federal Constitution. This article established the superior courts in the country. It specifically creates two High Courts, one in Malaya and one in Sabah and Sarawak. So the goal was to make sure laws are applied consistently across Malaysia. So Article 121, in the number 1 states there shall be two High Courts. So these courts handle civil and criminal cases and review lower court decisions. They also interpret the Federal Constitution to maintain legal and constitutional order. So establishing these courts was crucial for a fair and consistent legal system in Malaysia. Now for the composition, the High Court of Malaysia's composition is defined by the Federal Constitution and laws. Article 122 of the Federal Constitution states the structure of the High Court. Each High Court in Malaya and in Sabah and Sarawak is led by a Chief Judge. Additional judges are appointed as needed by federal law. The Chief Judge manages the court's operations and appointments. So usually only one judge presides over most cases. So for important cases like constitutional matters, a panel of 2 or more judges may be used. So for this case, it is presided over Judiciary Act 1964 by High Court Judge Yang Arif Avril Marriott Peters.
Okay, so now we move to the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction of the High Court refers to the authority posed by the High Court based on the Judiciary Act 1964. Okay. The High Court consists of the High Court of Malaya and the High Court of Sabah and Sarawak. So in general, the High Court of Malaya hears cases and disputes that occur in Peninsular Malaysia, while the High Court of Sabah and Sarawak only hear cases and disputes that occur in Sabah and Sarawak. The High Court's jurisdiction includes criminal, civil, and appellate matters.
Facts of the case. In divorce petition number WA-33-283-05 of 2021, before the High Court in Kuala Lumpur, Mrs. Smith seeks to dissolve her marriage to Mr. Smith due to irreconcilable differences. Married since June 15, 2005, the couple faces challenges including financial disagreements and infidelity allegations, leading to an irretrievable breakdown of their relationship. Mrs. Smith, represented by Harmi Yusof from Harmi Yusof and Azli, alleges Mr. Smith's financial irresponsibility and emotional neglect, seeking primary custody of their 2 children and a fair division of marital assets. Despite prior mediation attempts, negotiations failed, prompting Mrs. Smith to file for divorce. Both parties expressed concerns about the emotional toll on their children, emphasizing the importance of minimizing the impact of the divorce. In court proceedings, Jasmine Koo from Jasmine Koo and Asok represents Mr. Smith, contesting Mr. Smith's claims while advocating for his client's parental rights and equitable division of assets. The court is tasked with adjudicating custody arrangements, addressing financial settlement matters, and overseeing the divorce proceedings to ensure a fair and just resolution for both parties involved.
The first issue is about the spousal maintenance. In the decision where the spousal maintenance should be awarded, it was important to consider the following issues. The following issues was the marriage breakdown because the petitioner converted to Islam, or because the petitioner had an affair with TEB. It was because of the affair did the respondent find it undesirable. Next, the respondent made the means and means test to justify her claim for unpaid maintenance. The second issue is about the matrimonial assets. The issue was whether the respondent had a right to an equal share of all the matrimonial assets, which included the family home, other properties, shares in Naishud, V.HAS, watches, and jewelry.
Okay, so for the parties' argument for the petitioner pointed out that because TEB and he were married according to Islamic law, the court lacked jurisdiction to look into their relationship. And the second one is the petitioner's counsel argue against the claims of adultery by pointing out the timing of events and the nature of the relationship with TEB. And the third one, the petitioner claimed that some assets should not be divided because they belong to a third party, such as Naishud's Daihatsu Delta commercial truck. And the fourth one, in an attempt to deny the respondent's unsupported claims, the petitioner claimed that any watches and jewelry he owned had been gained after their divorce. So for the parties' argument in the respondent argued that before being married to TEB, the petitioner had an adulterous relationship with TEB, which is exactly what caused the marriage to completely fail. So the second one, without offering enough proof to back up her claims, the respondent demanded an amount of the money, jewelry, and watches that belonged to the petitioner, as well as a share in the value of certain vehicles that she owned. So number 3, based on the breakdown of the marriage and the parties' respective financial needs and means, the respondent made the case for spousal maintenance. So for the first one, the respondent highlighted the importance of taking into consideration the petitioner's conversion to Islam or the marriage breakdown that was caused by TEB's adultery.
For the holding, firstly is marital dissolution due to Islamic conversion. The primary rule of law applied in this case is the provision under Section 51 of the Law Reform Marriage and Divorce Act, which allows for the dissolution of a marriage when one party converts to Islam. Second is burden of proof in legal proceedings. The court applied the legal principle regarding the burden of proof as outlined in Section 103 of the Evidence Act 1950. Third is consideration of maintenance claims. The court considered factors such as income, financial resources, obligations, contributions to the family, and the breakdown of the marriage in assessing maintenance claims. Next, principle of accountability and legal pursuits. This principle underscores the importance of taking timely and proactive action in legal matters, especially in cases involving the dissolution of marriage. Lastly, legal precedents and case law. These legal principles were instrumental in shaping the court's decisions and judgments in the case.
Okay, so we move to the ratio and rationale. First, transfer the petitioner half share in the Bungaraya property to the respondent. So the rationale is the respondent's financial needs were met through rental income from the Bungaraya property, making monthly maintenance payment unnecessary. So the second is transfer of the petitioner half share in the matrimonial homes to the respondent. So the rationale that we get is the petitioner have purchased the matrimonial home over 2 decades ago and provide only sporadic maintenance payment. And we move to the dicta. Divorce proceedings should not become a means of financial gains, but should aim to provide parties with adequate resources to transition smoothly into their post life.
The case of HAL vs. HAS 2024 MLJU 984 is notable for its thorough consideration of both legal and personal factors, reflecting a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved in marital dissolution, especially in the context of religious conversion. Judge Avril Merritt Peter's decision is commendable for its fairness and attention to detail. The decision in HAL vs. HAS has important implications for future divorce proceedings involving religious conversion and adultery. It underscores the need for timely legal action in cases of prolonged adultery, thereby encouraging spouses to address issues as they arise rather than tolerating unacceptable behavior. Additionally, the case illustrates the court's ability to craft maintenance orders that reflect the unique circumstances of the parties involved, ensuring a fair and practical outcome that supports long-term financial stability for both parties. Overall, this case reinforces key legal principles while adapting to the personal and social complexities of marital relationships, setting a robust precedent for similar cases in the future.